Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us at the Holiday Extras Agents webinar. I'm here with James Lewis and Lindsay Garvey-Jones. It's been a complicated few months for all of us and for our industry especially, but we're clearly now into a recovery as lockdown eases. Most of Europe's open with a handful of exceptions. People are keen to travel again, and obviously it falls to us to help them do so. So we're here today to tell you how Holiday Extras is going to be doing that. I'm going to hand over to Lindsay, but first James, to talk about what happened at Holiday Extras during lockdown, so you understand what's been going on here, and then we'll hand over to Lindsay to talk about what we'll be doing in the future. James, over to you.
Cool, thanks Seamus. Hi everybody. So yeah, lockdown. How did it all begin? Well, like many other businesses in our industry, we took the decision at the end of March to furlough about 90% of the team. With no new bookings coming in and sort of tens of thousands of cancellations being made on a daily basis, we were kind of left with no other choice. We also took the decision to leave a bigger team in partnerships than in some other areas of the business, so that we can continue to provide you guys with a decent level of service, as you're obviously hugely important to us. Myself, Vicky and Cassie worked together for several weeks, supported by our sales administration team, and we're on hand to deal with any issues, provide you guys with communications, and deal with anything that was booking related. Obviously, March was quite a tricky month. We were all trying to find our way through something that we'd never experienced before. And to be honest, we're still trying to deal with some of the fallout from March now. But by April, we found ourselves in a much stronger position. We found we had an established team in place. We'd worked out the processes and procedures that we needed to have in place moving forward. And this allowed us to offer a bulk cancellation service for the months of April, May and June. And this was for the whole of our retail partners. So we were able to just cancel those bookings down, with you guys not having to worry about having to administer that yourselves. We know July is a bit more complicated as sort of people get back to starting to travel again, which is great. But we're still offering the service for bulk cancellations for any future bookings that you know won't be traveling. We also took the decision to handle your bookings very differently from other parts of our business. It was precisely for that fact, because they're your bookings for your customers, and therefore we offered full refunds for any flexible bookings, which we know not everybody else in the industry did. And with the help of our hotel suppliers, bar one, we were also able to offer full refunds for any non-flexible Super Saver hotel products. The only products we couldn't offer refunds for was for non-flexible parking bookings. And this was because, quite simply, that our suppliers were still charging us for these bookings, so our hands were tied. However, what we were able to do was negotiate with our suppliers, and they allowed us to issue vouchers to your customers so that you could book with the same supplier again, or your customer could book with the same supplier again for a future date through you guys, and obviously you guys will still retain the commission that you earned on the initial booking. So essentially, it's a virtual credit note which your customer has for any of those non-flexible parking bookings. On making this decision to issue vouchers, we sort of found ourselves in a position where we didn't have a system, we didn't have an online booking platform with the capability to redeem vouchers. So we had to make a really quick plan and build something great, which you guys could use easily, and we had to build it super fast. And I'm delighted to say that we did exactly that in a matter of weeks. Something really quite awesome for you guys to use to redeem your customers' vouchers, and also gives us a new tool to be able to do new things to help you in the future. And there's more to come on that a bit later. In terms of trading and how that's looked and looking, obviously we've suffered as much as everybody else, because if you guys aren't making bookings, then neither are we. Quite simple as that. We saw about 2 to 3% of last year's volume throughout April, which then increased into May to about 8%, and then things picked up early June as people started to show an interest in booking for 2021. And that took us up to about 20%. And then late June, early July, things really started to motor a bit harder as news of quarantine being lifted, news of airlines opening up again, and travel agents on the high street opening up again, of course. Yeah, this saw bookings creep up again and to about the 40% of last year mark. And I'm really delighted to say that yesterday we saw a record booking day, which post-COVID, obviously, which is about 55% of last year's volume, which is fantastic, because a couple of months ago when we were projecting our figures, we were only expecting to be around the 10% of last year mark by now. So we're a lot further on than we thought we were going to be, and the recovery is looking stronger than we thought. So, you know, it's really thanks to all you guys out there for helping us to boost those numbers more recently and over the last few months. And, you know, we really can't do it without you guys, so thank you.
Thank you, James. So that's a summary of what we've been doing over the last 2 or 3 months. Obviously, this session is ultimately a Q&A session. We've taken some questions from you in advance, so we'll answer a couple of those first. If you want to ask questions while we're on the call, if you haven't had a chance to send us questions in advance, there's a Q&A and a chat option at the bottom of your Zoom window, so feel free to chuck questions in there. We'll pick up as many of those as we can as we go, and if there's any we don't get time to get to, we'll come back to you privately after the session. So feel free to ask us anything. We'll answer as much of it as we can. First question for you, James, then, if I may. This again comes from our agents. Does Holiday Extras believe the wrong decision was made in furloughing so many staff, leading to refund problems, and will they now start selling non-refundable products?
Okay, so I'm here today to talk to you guys, our agents, about the hotels and parking side of the business. And obviously I'll give you my open, honest view on this. Some of you may have seen some of the PR that we received for the way in which we handled refunds to our direct customers. And none of this was related to how we dealt with your customers and you guys. And as I said earlier in my opening piece, we handled you guys very differently from how we handled our direct customers. All of the bookings, as I said, for April, May and June and some of July were cancelled in bulk. And we had a process set up to refund any money which was owed back to you guys and to the accounts on a monthly basis. So in terms of how we've dealt with the refunds for agents and their customers, I would say by no means that's been a disaster. I think we've had quite a good process in place and dealt with it quite proactively. And I believe my team has worked tirelessly and again proactively to ensure we've done everything in our power to give you guys what you needed. And I don't think the amount of people that we furloughed relates in any way to how we've managed the process on the retail side of the business. To the point of stopping selling non-refundable products, we're not going to do that. I can give you some more information about that later. We're not going to do that, but we do have some good news about a product which is similar, which will replace the non-flexible product.
Great, thank you, James. All right, next question in that case, and we'll look forward to the answer to that one. Can Super Saver bookings be amended or cancelled for a refund?
Okay, Super Savers cannot be cancelled, but they can be amended. And as I was saying earlier on, in the newly created voucher system, you guys can amend a Super Saver booking as long as it's for a new date inside 3 years from 18 months of the voucher being issued. The only stipulation is the new booking will need to be made for a product for the same brand of car park as the original one was made for. So if the original booking was for, say, an on-airport product at Manchester Airport, you could make another booking for an on-airport product at Manchester. Or if the booking was for a Maple Manor product, you could make a booking for a Maple Manor product at any of their other sites. Which brings me on to kind of the new product. So as I was just saying in the previous question, we've kind of listened to we have listened to your feedback regarding the non-flexible Super Saver products, and we've taken some time to review how this product is sold in the future. As this period certainly highlighted some complexities with the product and some frustrations from yourselves and your customers. And what I'm pleased to announce is that we've recently launched our new Saver products, and these will allow your customers to continue to enjoy the cheaper prices than the fully flexible products. But these products they won't be able to be cancelled, but they will be able to be amended to any other date within 18 months. So it still gives you the flexibility. It's going to be like the voucher system, where if your customer wants to cancel or wants to, then you can issue the voucher, and then you can then use the voucher system to process the new booking at a later date when your customer decides they want to use that voucher for a future stay. So that's good.
Good news. Thank you, James. We have had a couple of questions in the QA, so we'll come back to those in a moment, if I may. In the meantime, I'm going to move on to Lindsay, because Lindsay would like to talk to you all about our plans for the future. And then we'll come back to some questions, both prepared that have come in before the chat and also on the chat now. So Lindsay, over to you.
Thanks, Seamus. Oh, it's so good to have this session today and to be able to speak to all of you, because I'm really excited what I'm seeing on social media channels right now, which is so many people are starting to travel. I'm seeing pictures from Ibiza and Greece, and it's quite entertaining, it's quite good. And we're starting to see a lot of our customers travel again, using our car parks and hotels and our lounges, and of course using the airport. So it was absolutely necessary that we gave you a toolkit. You know, we've always been great at giving you the tools to use for your customers, but we needed to give you tools to give you the reassurance, lots of confidence as well. So I wanted to talk you through what we've been working on and what's going to be available to you, because we've been working so hard with our lovely suppliers to make it easy for you to see and spot the COVID secure products on our agent website as well.
Great, thank you, Lindsay. All right, well, let's go to a question then. First question for you is, if a customer uses our car parks, what happens to their keys, and is it COVID safe?
That's a great question. I think a number of our car parks right now have started to release details of how they're managing their car parks to become more COVID secure. We're highlighting these on our agent website. So there's going to be a nice logo that you can easily see on our agent website. That will help you and your customers to really quickly determine which products are COVID secure. And specific information for each car park is going to be available in the product information section on the agent website. And we'd all like to highly recommend that you go through this with your customers if they're showing signs of concern, or you just want to run through that with them to give them some more reassurance. Now, each car park is doing things slightly differently, and that just depends on their type of operation. So what I want to give you is some examples of kind of what's changed, things that are happening. Traditionally, our car parks have been doing what we call block car parking, customers' cars. But now, in these new times, we are offering them a self-park system. So the customer gets to keep their keys. Now, social distancing will happen on the buses to and from the airport, which means that they will only carry now about half of what they normally would allow capacity-wise. Anybody that has to drive a customer's car will have a COVID test before they start work, so to give more reassurance. Bus stops, they've been made bigger to allow for more social distancing, and of course those lovely suitcases. And of course, keys will be sprayed before they are returned to customers, which again gives lots of reassurance. So, let me see, what else have we got? We've pulled together all of the information that we've had from all of our lovely suppliers. We've created a quick reference guide. This is one of the tools just for you. That's going to be available on our agent website and through our usual social media channels as well. So it'll be on our Facebook channel and Instagram and Twitter. It's going to provide you with those handy hints, handy tips, and will also give suggestions on how you can make the customer's journey even better through the airport, be more comfortable and hassle-free. The piece will actually clearly outline as well the COVID secure provisions and what to expect at most of the UK airports, such as where do I wear my mask, and where will the hand sanitizers be, and will I have my temperature checked? Thanks, Seamus.
Thanks, Lindsay. Okay, hang on, we've got some more questions coming in. We've got another question for Lindsay, if I may. Question goes, I tried to change the date of a booking on the 4th of June. I still have only had this back If your trips have been affected by coronavirus and you need help, please visit our help and support page. We have a team in place working from home and there to help customers affected by coronavirus. So this is, I say, effectively the standard response. The agent goes on to say it's been a little longer than 7 days that we said originally in that email. Can we go back to them with what's happened there?
Okay, good question. They're all amazing questions. Thank you. We can't update on individual bookings, but what I can give you is an update on how we're handling the booking requests. We have a small team, a very dedicated team, who are working Monday through till Friday, full hours, 9 till 5. They're hands-on to answer questions that come in via the online form, which most of you have been filling out. Now, all of those forms that we do receive are put into a virtual queue and they're answered on a date-by-date basis. So naturally that queue kind of does build up, and we are generally getting this down and we're turning things around quite quickly now. But what we would ask is that you always try our agent website first, because it's more of a self-serve thing. If you've got anything like a standard cancellation or an amendment, try using our agent website before filling out the online forms. And something that we've been doing very quickly as well is putting together the how-to videos. Some of those have gone live this week and last week on the how-to. How can I cancel a booking? How can I amend my booking? Which is all underneath the Manage My Booking section on the agent website. Those are all available on our Facebook page, which is HX Agents Hub. If you ask to be let into the hub, all the information is there for you as well. So what I would say is that we can't comment individually, but try and self-serve wherever you can.
Lovely, thank you, Lindsay. I'm going to give you one more question that we got in advance, and then I'm going to move on to some of the questions that have been coming through in the feed. They are coming through pretty thick and fast, so we won't necessarily get to all of them. But we will answer as many as we can in the session and then come back to those we didn't get a chance to. So Lindsay, one more for you. Why did you heavily promote cancellation cover prior to COVID and then change the policy from 24 hours to 48 hours and not inform anyone?
Our cancellation cover has not changed as a result of COVID. It's remained constant and throughout lockdown. So yeah, quite simple on that one. It's not changed.
Okay, nice and simple. All right, thanks, Lindsay. I'm going to move on to some questions from the feed now. Hang on. Sorry, bear with me, just a couple of those to go through. So for James, this is the first one we had in today. Airport lounges, are they able to be privately booked? What are the H&S procedures? What are the changes? What are the booking conditions now? James, that's to you.
Okay, some of the lounges are still sort of working out what the plan is in terms of reopening, but what we do know is that there will be social distancing in the lounges, so there will be reduced capacity. For instance, one of our buyers has told us that there'll be 55 to 65% of previous capacity. There will be contactless entry to the lounge. There won't be a buffet service, but there will be food and drink provided, but that will be table service, so it won't involve customers having to go up and mingle around, getting their food and bumping into each other. Privately booked, no, I don't think so. I mean, you can book through us, and our bookings will always reserve your customer space, so they're guaranteed entry if they have a booking with Holiday Extras. So that obviously is always recommended, but I haven't heard of anything where you can privately book. So that's sort of the changes to the lounge feel and procedures.
Okay, thanks, James. Just for everyone's information, all the agents who are watching, we've had a couple of people come into the questions saying that they're experiencing buffering or some problems with the feed. From our end, the feed's running fine, so we are recording all of this. There's no problem with James's or Lindsay's on my feed at our end. So if you can't see it now, you will be able to pick it up later. We are recording it and we'll put it out later. So don't worry if you've missed anything. James, if I may, another question then from the audience. When will COVID cancellation cover be available on insurance?
Right, so it was meant to be available from last Thursday. There's been some delays. some complicated delays which are held up in Germany at the moment. We are expecting it any day now. So I'm told by the insurance team that it should be by the end of the week. But you'll obviously hear an update from our insurance team as and when that goes live. But it is very close.
Okay, thanks, James. I'm going to go back to one of the questions we got in advance now. If I was unable to get a response regarding a cancellation and was forced to rebook to save the sale, the customer is in theory paying for 2 products with you and being penalised. Is this right or fair?
Well, no, initially it doesn't sound fair, does it? But we would need to look at the booking individually. I can't comment without really seeing the detail of the bookings. We don't know if what the circumstances are, if the booking was for a past date or if it's non-flexible. If the person that sent in that question wants to email me the details of that booking, we'll get it looked into. But email it over and we'll have a dig around and see if we can do anything, if that is a specific live example.
Okay, thank you, James. I think that's all the questions we had pre-recorded. Do we know about the policy on Super Saver products, James? Sorry to drop one on you, but it's the last question we've had on. What's the policy going to be for Super Saver products for future departures where the holiday is cancelled or the customer's waiting to amend the holiday?
So the new style products you will be able to obviously issue a voucher for, and then the customer will be able to use that voucher within 18 months of issue for a different product if they're amending it over. Say a different product, it's for the same product but at a later date. For anything that was booked prior to the new product launch, so the sort of the old non-flexible style products, we've been able to extend the voucher issue into August. We think as of September, the standard terms and conditions will apply on the non-flexible bookings from September onwards. Okay,
thank you, James. Lindsay, James, anything else you wanted to say before we wrapped up? I think that's all the questions that we had in the chat. So if nothing further, we'll call that a day.
No, nothing from me, just an enormous thank you to everybody for hard work, effort, energy and graft as always. Great.
Lovely, thanks, Lindsay.
It's really great to see everybody back to work again, and the bookings are coming in from you guys thick and fast. There's really good signs of recovery in the market, a lot faster than we'd expected and actually hoped for. We're in a much better position, and we're in a good strong position to be able to see what the whole of the industry is doing, and there's lots of positive noises out there within the industry. There's lots of positive booking volumes coming through, so we believe the recovery is definitely in progress. So thank you all for your support, and thank you for taking the time out today to join the call. I hope it's been useful. Lindsay, I and the team are around, so if you want to get in contact with us to talk about anything more specific, then please do. We're more than happy to help.
All right. Thank you, James and Lindsay, for coming today and answering all the questions. Thank you to everyone who sent in questions in advance. It was great to get those. Thank you for sending us questions as we went. We've answered as many of those as I think we've been able to. We'll come back to anyone that we didn't get to. If we find any more questions in the chat that we missed, we'll come back to after this session. And again, finally, if you weren't able to see any of this or you missed any of it, we are recording it, so we'll send out the recording afterwards. So again, from all of us at Holiday Extras, thanks very much, and we'll see you again for the next one.
Thank you, everyone.